The Washington Mystics just made a move that has everyone talking, shifting their home games against Clark's Indiana Fever to Angel Reese's backyard, Baltimore, Maryland. Let's be honest, this is a strategic money play by the Mystics, but Reese's fans are losing their minds over it. The real question is, why not just move the game to Capital One Arena in D.C. like last season? Did the Mystics deliberately put Reese in a position where she could get overshadowed in her own hometown? No matter how you slice it, this decision is setting up for absolute WNBA chaos, and truthfully, we're here for every single moment of it. Official release straight from the NBA website. Man, Indiana Fever 2025 road games at Mystics moved to Baltimore. So, listen, y'all made a big deal 2 weeks ago about a Caitlin Clark billboard being put up in Chicago. Angel Reese's fans are in full panic mode, and the reactions are absolutely priceless. Caitlin Clark is about to take center stage in Reese's home turf, not once, but twice this season, and the meltdown from her supporters is downright entertaining. What you're witnessing is the Caitlin Clark effect at full power, and spoiler alert, it has nothing to do with Angel Reese's over-the-top antics. The WNBA is getting a first-hand look at what real star power looks like, and Baltimore is about to experience it firsthand. But her attention, her notoriety, is based off Caitlin Clark because she wins the national title. First thing she does, she mocks Caitlin Clark, and then she doesn't even celebrate with her teammates. So, she's made it personal with Caitlin Clark, then she's played off of that. Chicago fans already got a preview of this when Clark played there earlier. The energy in the arena was electric, every seat was filled, and the hype was through the roof. But let's be honest, fans weren't there to watch Angel Reese struggle from the field and overreact to routine plays. They came to see Caitlin Clark do what she does best: dominate the game, set records, and elevate the league in a way that no other player has done in years. This is what the WNBA has been waiting for: an undeniable star who pulls in crowds and delivers real excitement. And sorry, that excitement isn't coming from Reese's exaggerated celebrations after a 5-point, 10-rebound night. So, it's been hard for me, but adjusting and just kind of having that mindset of just moving on has been something I try to give myself a little bit of grace. Now, Sky fans who somehow believe Angel Reese is the new face of the WNBA are in damage control. Every time Clark steps onto their home court, it serves as a painful reality check. Reese's supporters have spent months hyping her up as the next big thing. But here's the truth. You can't be the face of the league if no one outside your fan bubble cares. The only time Reese gets attention is when she's involved in some controversy, missing easy shots, or throwing shade at other players. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is doing what actual superstars do, breaking records, selling out arenas, and bringing in an entirely new audience to the sport. There's a very thin line between hate and facts, and what I believe to be the case is that there was incremental growth in the WNBA comparatively to the exponential growth we are seeing now. And I'm about to tell y'all I haven't heard this before, so I doubt you have either. Before the 2023 season, the WNBA had grown by 40% viewership from 2022 to 2023, but with Caitlin Clark's arrival, it's grown by 400% viewership. What that means, and the irony even Reese's biggest supporters have to admit, is what the rest of us have known all along. The WNBA is thriving because of Caitlin Clark. Before she entered the league, attendance was inconsistent, TV ratings were low, and national interest was fading. Now arenas are packed, broadcasts are setting records, and every team wants in on the Caitlin Clark experience. And let's be real, it's not because Angel Reese is putting up decent stats against weaker competition. It's because Clark is a generational player who makes every matchup must-watch. A lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness, she and the Indiana Fever accounted for 45% of all the broadcast value of the WNBA last season. She accounted also for helping drive the numbers of merchandising up 500%. Of course, her jersey was number one. Chicago fans are desperately holding on to the illusion that Angel Reese is in the same conversation as Caitlin Clark, but let's break it down. Clark is casually draining logo threes, threading impossible passes, and creating viral highlights every game. And Reese, she's playing hard, no doubt, but there's a massive difference between being a high-energy role player and being a true franchise cornerstone. The WNBA is a business, and when it comes to the player who's selling tickets, jerseys, and skyrocketing TV ratings, the answer is obvious. And here's a hint. It's not the one flexing after making a routine layup. Let me tell you about Caitlin Clark. Yeah, Caitlin Clark has brought so many eyes to women's basketball that it's amazing. A dude named Aiko, I forgot his last name, but it's something A.O., Emmanuel A.O., yeah, he showed how in 5 days before the draft, she made the WNBA more money than they would have made in the next 5 years without her. It's not just the fans struggling to accept this new reality. The Chicago Sky organization is feeling the pressure too. They have no choice but to market Angel Reese as their franchise star. Yet every time Caitlin Clark steps into their arena, she completely takes over the sold-out crowds, the surging jersey sales, the highlight reel plays that dominate social media. It's all Clark. Meanwhile, Reese's fan base is scrambling to make sense of what's happening. They claim she's great for the culture, but last time we checked, cultural influence doesn't sell out stadiums on its own. Man, yeah. Y'all were mad about that billboard a couple of weeks ago. The Reese's pieces were. This is going to annoy Angel. I know it is, and I know that they had to because the MCI Center was under renovation, but still, what does ticket sales and TV ratings and Caitlin Clark is delivering both like nobody else? WNBA teams are catching on fast when they see what Clark has done for Indiana. They all want a piece of the action. This league has never seen this level of national buzz before. And let's be real, it's not because Angel Reese is grabbing rebounds. Clark's presence transforms ordinary regular season games into major events. She's turning casual observers into die-hard fans, while Reese's supporters are left watching as their favorite plays second fiddle to the biggest star in the sport. They're going to say, "See you there, see you there." Now, the Indiana Fever stated venue change. A regular season game on May the 28th on September 7th at the Washington Mystics are moving to CFG Arena in Baltimore, bro. So, as y'all can see here, location changed. CFG Bank Arena, Baltimore, Maryland. CFG Bank Arena, Baltimore, Maryland. Somebody said, could it be the missing owner doesn't want the Caitlin Clark shine to be seen again? And let's talk about the endless list of excuses, because there's always a new one when Reese underperforms. First, it was that she's young. Then, it was that she needs more time. Now, it's that she's still adjusting. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is getting double and triple teamed, hacked on nearly every play, and still putting up elite numbers. Funny how one player constantly gets excuses while the other just goes out and improves game after game. Why? She's the most impactful player the WNBA has seen in years. The preseason game against the Brazilian national team sold out in 36 minutes, 15,000 fans. There are tickets for that game upwards of $4,500. Reese's fan base is absolutely scrambling, and it's honestly hilarious. They're shouting, "Why isn't Angel getting the same star treatment? Why aren't teams bending over backward for her too?" The answer is simple. She's not Caitlin Clark. Clark is selling out 10,000-seat arenas in record time. Every city she plays in turns into a must-see spectacle. Fever ticket sales are soaring, and opposing teams are literally shifting venues just to accommodate the insane demand to see her play. Meanwhile, Reese's fans are left scratching their heads, wondering why her games aren't drawing the same frenzy. All over. A lot of these tickets are crazy, but I'm not even about the price for me. I'm just thinking about, I'm comparing the Indiana Fever versus Chicago Sky because they said that it was like me too, like you guys are watching women's basketball because of me too. Bro, everybody could get into this. Literally everybody could get into this game. Reality check. Nobody is moving their games for Angel Reese. No teams are rushing to secure larger venues to meet overwhelming ticket demand. The unrivaled league experiment already proved that when Clark isn't in the equation, the excitement simply isn't the same. Reese's fans continue to expect the world to bow down and treat her like basketball royalty, but the truth is undeniable. Clark is on another level. Her impact is measurable and undeniable, while Reese is left playing catch-up, making the most noise without delivering the same results. People aren't fighting for tickets to see Reese. They're not forcing teams to expand arenas just to get a glimpse of her on the court. That right there is the difference. Angel Reese may be playing in the league, but who wants to see a goofy 6 feet 6 inches woman miss layups? Not I. And let's talk about Sheila Johnson, the owner of the Washington Mystics. She really thought she was making a statement with her speech about Caitlin Clark. She stood in front of the cameras, insisting that the media should spread the attention around, that Clark wasn't the only player who deserved the spotlight. She tried to frame it as advocating for the underappreciated stars of the WNBA. Fast forward a few weeks, and suddenly the Mystics are moving their games to a bigger arena. And why? Because of Caitlin Clark. So, let's get this straight. When it suits the narrative, Clark is just another player, nothing special, right? But the second ticket sales start skyrocketing. Suddenly, she's the best thing that's ever happened to the Mystics. The contradiction is wild. If this was truly about promoting all WNBA players equally, why weren't they moving stadiums before? Why weren't they selling out games before? Oh, that's right, because Angel Reese and the rest of the league weren't drawing crowds like this. So, the Washington Mystics owner Sheila Johnson goes on CNN and says that the entire WNBA should have been put on the cover of Time magazine. It is hard to get away from this conversation because it just keeps making national news, and to be frank, I've never seen a story in the WNBA get as much widespread coverage as this is getting. I honestly can't wait until the season's back in so we can get more about basketball talk. But back to this. So last night, we read Time magazine where Caitlin Clark was named Athlete of the Year. Why couldn't they have put the whole WNBA on that cover and said the WNBA is the League of the Year because of all the talent that we have? Because when you just keep singling out one player, it creates hard feelings. Sheila, one moment you're preaching about how the media should give other players more shine, and the next you're counting up Caitlin Clark ticket sales like you just hit the jackpot. The hypocrisy is deafening. If the WNBA earned $1 every time someone downplayed Clark while secretly cashing in on her success, they'd be rolling in NBA-level profits by now. It's the same routine over and over. Dismiss her, act like she's overhyped, but then turn around and ride the wave of sold-out games and record-breaking viewership. Now, the same people who rolled their eyes at her impact are suddenly shifting their entire marketing strategy to capitalize on the Caitlin Clark effect. But, I've got a theory that Sheila Johnson is trying to do two things here. Number one, she's trying to screw Indiana Fever fans and Caitlin Clark fans. 6,000 less tickets available. Number two, while lining her pockets even more. Now, you might be like, well, Rhodes, I don't get it. Well, it's simple. Less tickets means the gate prices, all right? The gate prices for the game will actually go up. In other words, just like that preseason game, has got tickets for $4,500 a run-of-the-mill game like this. Even we all know Caitlin Clark tickets are expensive. So, let's just be real. Sheila, you're not fooling anyone. You can talk all day about giving other players more credit, but deep down, you know who's making things happen. That's why your team is moving games to bigger arenas. That's why you're chasing this revenue surge. Caitlin Clark isn't just a temporary hot topic. She's the future of the league. Keep denying it if you want, but don't stop cashing those checks while you do. Caitlin Clark doesn't just move the needle. She is the needle. And if you need any more proof of that, the Indiana Fever exhibition game sold out in just about 30 minutes. Her influence is so massive that she just sold out her first Indiana Fever preseason game against Brazil in an hour, and yet somehow there are still people asking why she's getting all the attention. Do they need a step-by-step breakdown? This isn't rocket science. Clark is a generational talent, and the demand for her is unlike anything the WNBA has ever seen. Fans didn't just buy tickets, they overloaded the system. Meanwhile, other WNBA players are practically begging people to show up to their games like they're handing out free barbecue plates at a family cookout. And let's be honest, nobody is more out of touch with reality than Angel Reese's fanbase. They actually think she should be receiving the same level of excitement as Clark. That's like expecting a cover band to sell out Madison Square Garden. Clark has fans who had never watched women's basketball before now tracking every Fever game, every record, every viral highlight. Reese, not so much. Yeah, the reason why we're watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too. I want y'all to realize that Clark is proving that she's the biggest star in the WNBA, and the numbers back it up. Every time she takes the floor, it's an event, an occasion that brings national media attention, packed arenas, and lines of fans waiting just to catch a glimpse. Meanwhile, Reese's fans are acting like she's entitled to that same reaction. Based on what? Because she once taunted Clark? Because she's active on TikTok? That's not enough. Clark's dominance speaks for itself. She's redefining the game. Reese, she's just another player. There are hundreds in there. Don't play with them. There are hundreds in there. Do not play with the Chicago sky. There are hundreds in there. You see this? Okay. Oh, here goes the Indiana Fever. Wow. Clark is drawing comparisons to all-time legends, shattering viewership records, and making networks rethink their approach to covering women's basketball. Meanwhile, Reese's supporters are still out here trying to convince people she's on Clark's level. Newsflash, she's not. One player is selling out arenas in minutes, while the other isn't coming anywhere close. Clark is the one changing the game. She's got NBA stars praising her, casual fans fully invested, and kids wanting to follow in her footsteps. That's real star power. But yeah, it's a big situation again. Like Caitlin Clark selling at Iowa sold out a preseason game. People saying it sold out in 40 minutes. This is within 20 minutes. Like, obviously, you couldn't get on the damn website. It sold out. You could have been trying.